Okay, a very good morning to all of you. Today we are very lucky to have this session with all of you, whereby we are going to talk about physical growth and emotional development during puberty. Now, let's think about it. What is physical growth? So, physical growth is an increase in body size and the size of the organ. Well, that's what Wikipedia tells us. And it involves physical activities whereby physical activities promotes healthy growth and development. Now, there are three basic stages of physical growth in our life. One is infancy, two, childhood, and of course, another one is adolescent. So let's watch this video. As you can see from that clip, the physical growth of a person is very rapid. Now, let's start with the beginning. Okay, it is the most rapid growth part in life. The human's life begin as one cell. The single cell divides many times and grows rapidly until a new baby is ready to be born in about 40 weeks. During this time, the mother's health is of utmost importance. She needs the support of her husband to make her feel secure and happy. Access to medical service is also very important to her. Now, next we move on to infancy or babyhood. Now, this is another rapid physical growth in life, and it involves the physical growth and the motor growth of a person. Okay, it also involves a rapid brain stimulation for a person too. Now, babies cannot look after themselves. They depend totally to their parents to fulfill their basic needs in order to survive. Babies develop very rapidly, and by the end, they are able to walk, run, feed themselves, and communicate. So it takes about like 1 year to 3 years for a baby to move from infancy to childhood. Now, next we have childhood. Childhood at this stage are actually children, okay, who have actually perfected all their body skills on how to walk, to run, to skip, to jump, feed themselves, put on clothes, and so on. So they go to school at the age of around 5, okay, where they go to kindergarten, and by the end of childhood, they will have completed their primary education. Now, this is the stage where it's very crucial for most of us, because during this stage, they learn about their society, train in sensible health habits such as personal hygiene. Next, we move on to adolescent. There are actually 3 stages of adolescent. Okay, first, the onset of puberty. So it is actually overlapping with childhood, because for girls it starts around the age of 8 to 12, and for boys it starts around the age of 10 to 14. Now, the middle adolescence is a very, very temperamental stage for kids or teenagers. And why? Because the girls will start their middle adolescence around the age of 13 to 16, and the boys will start a bit later, around the age of 14 to 17. And late adolescent is whereby, a lot of changes happen in their lives. For example, girls will start it around the age of 16, and boys a year later when they are 17. So we move on to adulthood. Now, for adulthood is around the age of 20 to, well, if how long you live. All right. So basically, a human will live around the age of 80. Well, some 90, but mostly around 80. So 20 to 80. So most adult, when they reach adulthood, they are ready for marriage and family, and they are ready to take their place in society. They become responsible for their own welfare and the welfare of others, especially their own families. Now, when you reach adulthood, you will progress in life, okay, and make the best out of it. But we are going to concentrate more on puberty. So, what is the definition of puberty? Puberty is a stage in life that everybody goes through around the age of 9 to 16. Okay, for example, it began as early as 9 of age. Okay, for others, it may occur a bit later, like 15 or 16. And the rate of change also varies between the individuals. Marked physical bodily changes take place at the same time as emotional characteristic develop. Okay, so the physical changes is actually involving the emotional development of a person too. Okay, for example, the changes can be similar for male and female in certain parts, but they can be very, very different because it only occurs in male, and also sometimes it occurs only in the female. For example, physical changes between the males, or there are similars, okay, between the male and female are huge growth spurt. Okay, you suddenly grow like, a few inches to, well, more than a few inches. Okay, then you have more and stronger sexual feelings. You start to take interest in guys, or the girls will, the guys will start to notice the girls among them. Okay, you begin to have pimples on your face. Oh my god, the outbreaks, I could still remember those days. Okay, and well, you tend to sweat a lot, not due to nervousness, but because you tend to just sweat a lot. Okay, because the sweat glands are actually working right now, and that is the stage whereby me having kids, I'll know that they have body change. The smell, oh my god, you could smell them from, like, oh, I can't imagine that. That's why I always tell my kids, BO, body odor. Use your deodorants. Now, you grow taller. Okay, you grow taller, reaching almost to full adult height. And that's where all the hairs come in. Underarms, your pubic hairs, like you have hairs everywhere. And guys will have those stubbles coming out, very weird ones. Okay, and the worst part is mood swings. Okay, you get very temperamental. You are moody one day, the next day you are happy, by afternoon you are sad, and it went on and off. Okay, as long as you are not bipolar, it's okay. Now, changes in males. The shoulder will broaden, and one part, the penis and the testes grow in size. Okay, the testes begin to produce semen and millions of sperms. Okay, the voice deepens. Facial hair, like I said just now, okay, begins to grow. Sideburn, mustache, beard. Oh my god, hairy guy. Okay, the body hair became thicker, and you become more muscular, and the strength increases. So they are very good. Guys who have reached puberty are very good to use when you need to open bottles or so on. They can just help you out. But changes in females are very different. You get bloody months. Why? Your period begins. Okay, your breasts begin to grow, your pelvic widen. Okay, because, well, your uterus and vagina actually increase in size, and your ova in the ovary started to mature. Oh my god, it's like popping things. Okay, and your voice become more melodious and more wondering about that too, because, well, mine became weird. I get high pitch. Okay, but let's go to the guys. This is more interesting. The growth of the penis and the testicle. The penis and the testicles in boys start to grow bigger between the age of 11 and 15. Well, actually, it varies on age. Sometimes a bit earlier, sometimes a bit later. The size of the penis varies between individual, and this is normal. Okay, not one, when you have one, it doesn't show the all. There might be bigger, some might be longer, some might be smaller in width, girth, and so on. But, well, that's another issue. Erection happens when a stimulus, a sexual arousal, is sent to the brain, and the spinal cord then sends the messages, causing blood to rush the blood vessel and spongy tissues in the penis. The muscles at the base of the penis tighten to prevent easy flow of blood back to the system. The penis becomes larger and darker during erection. Okay, you're not supposed to check your penis right now, guys. Okay, no such things. Erection occurs during life since infancy. So spontaneous erection actually happens at times when you're waking up in the morning or during urination, and sexual arousal happens. Okay, your penis will actually erect when you stroke it, or you touch it, or you think about sexy thoughts. Okay, so you're not supposed to think about girls in their bikinis at the moment, because it might cause an erection. Now, the production of semen and ejaculations. Okay, a year after the penis and testis starts to grow and pubic hair begins to appear, the testis begins to produce semen. Externally, this is indicated by ejaculating whitish fluid from the penis. Happening to you now? The seminal fluid contains millions of sperms. Those things that goes like that. Yeah. Contraction of the muscle in the penis pushes the semen out of the tip, okay, of your penis during sexual excitement, known as orgasm. Okay, so it happens. So that is what is happening to all of you guys, boys. Now, one thing that occurs quite frequently among boys is actually the wet dream. Have you ever had that before? A question there. The boy's first ejaculation usually happens when sleeping. The wet dream is the body's natural way of releasing the sperm built up in the testes. The scientific name of a wet dream is nocturnal emission. So when you have a wet dream and you don't want people to think of you having a wet dream, you just say, "Oh, I have a nocturnal emission." Sounds very scientific. Well, the boy's first wet dream is equivalent to a girl's first menstruation. So when your female or your friends having their period, well, that's how the guys are doing it. They're having their nocturnal emission. So it's signal the beginning of the reproductive functioning ability to impregnate or to make a girl pregnant. This way you have to be careful. Not supposed to have all those weird things going on, okay, unless you are responsible. Okay, so the hair on the body, okay, grows. Now, the hormone testosterone in body causes the growth of hair around the genitals within a year or two, and it covers the base of the penis, over the pubic bone, and around the anus. It begins with just a few hair, and then the hair grows and it gets coarser and it gets curlier. Now, there will also be new thicker body hair, and the amount of hair on the body is genetic. So it passes down from the male members of the family. So let's say if your father is hairy, then you end up hairy. Okay, so if your father is not so hairy, then you won't be so hairy. And then facial hair also grows, between the age of 14 to 18, usually beginning from the sideburns, and of course the mustache. Well, you tend to have all these weird things going around here. Okay, so now another thing that happens to you, okay, that changes when you are reaching that period of time is your voice change. Okay, it is also due to the hormone testosterone, which makes the voice box grow bigger. So it happens around the age of 14 to 15, and your voice gets deeper. So when you talk, you're like those growling voice, and well, you can use it when you sing. Now for girls, it's a bit different. Now where is the differences? The breast, okay, starts to grow. Okay, breast development in a girl is caused by the hormones estrogen and progesterone. The development of the breast enables the production of milk. Now we sound like cows. Okay, the breasts are covered by fat on the outside and milk glands on the inside. Very cowish in a way. Okay, now the growth of the breast can occur slowly or even dramatically. So sometimes, it's uneven. Your left breast could be bigger and your right breast a bit smaller, but it's still quite normal. Unless, as you grow and then they become very uneven, maybe you can see a doctor about it. Now, the breast comes in all shapes and sizes, depending on the amount of fatty tissues. Now, the major factor in variation of breast is heredity. So, body weight is never relevant to the breast. So let's say if your mom tend to be big chested, have big breasts, you might have that too. Okay, so no amount of exercising will make the breast bigger. Nope, you're not supposed to go and exercise and make it bigger. But nowadays they tend to have a lot of these weird things online, not those cream that actually tells you that okay, after putting it on, your breast will get bigger, which doesn't happen. Okay, so those are actually scams in a way, unless well proven. Now next to it is the body hair. Now we female also have body hair, not like only guys, but female also have body hairs that grows around the genitals, and is known as pubic hair. Okay, it will grow first around the pubic bone, and then around the vulva, and then the vagina, and then towards the anus. And it starts with a small area extending to the navel and the inside of the thigh. So it could be a lot of hair actually. Okay, but don't worry, you have a lot of exfoliating products that can help you to reduce those hairy things. Now the hair also grows, okay, in the armpit, okay, the leg, the forearm, and even the upper lip and chin. You might end up hairy, okay, and it grows longer, thicker, and darker. Some individuals have very little hair, but some have hair on the face and on the neck. But still, you can use all those exfoliating, things to just clean it off, so that you won't be so hairy. Girls don't like to be hairy, right? Yeah. Okay. So other than that, okay, in girls, your genitals is actually moist most of the time. Okay, this is due to the production of vaginal mucus from the vaginal wall. So it's naturally cleansed. Therefore, you do not need to douche. Okay, you know that? Go to the toilet and then pour a lot of water into your vagina. I don't know why we are taught to do that. Okay, so the mucus is slightly acidic and salty. Don't ask me. I've never tested those things before. Okay, so when sexually turned on, the genitals becomes wet with increased production of mucus. That is very true actually. Don't ask me. Okay, menstruation. Now, this is a topic whereby a lot of people have a lot of problems, especially when it comes to girls. You are like, I'm bleeding. Every month I'm bleeding. Now, all women menstruate except during pregnancy or when you are nursing a baby. Well, actually, it doesn't really happen in a way, because some people might still be nursing and still have their menstrual period, okay, or cycle. When you have an underdeveloped uterus illness or having problem with your reproductive system, okay, so that's when you don't have your menstrual cycle. But then menstruation begins during the age of 9 to 18. So if you are younger than that, see the doctor. You are older than that, let's say you are around 20 and still you haven't gotten your menstrual cycle yet, better see the doctor. Okay, so in most cases, it happens around the age of 12. Okay, and the first period is known as the menarche. Okay, so menstruation continues till the age of 45 or 50. Okay, I'm almost 50. I'm still having my period. Oh gosh. Okay, so menstruation occurs regularly every 21 to 40 days, with some women having it regularly while others have it irregularly. So it's either regularly or irregularly, but most women experience irregular menstruation sometimes. You know, when you're stressed out and everything, then you go like, oh, my period is not there. But when you miss the period, you better go and check. Okay, if you are sexually active, so because you might be, be pregnant. Now, menstruation is normal, is healthy, and you should be very positive about it. So let's look at the menstrual cycle. Okay, so what is it all about? A menstrual cycle is an important part of your health. All right. Okay. The cycle varies from month to month and person to person. Okay. So the hormone determines when your period begins, how long it lasts, and how long before you bleed again. So about 2 weeks before bleeding, an egg is released from the ovaries and the uterus develop a lining to nurture the egg. Now, if the egg is not fertilized, well, it disintegrates. Without a fertilized egg, the lining begins to break down and is released from the body through the vagina. So the first day of bleeding is the start of your period, and bleeding often lasts for 4 to 7 days. Now, things that you should talk to your doctor about. If you have not started your period by the time you are 16, go and see your doctor. Just now we said about 18. So it should be around 16 or 18. You need to go and see a doctor if you have not gotten your period yet. Now, if your period stops for more than 90 days, you better see your doctor. There are a lot of actually possibilities. Okay, it could be you're pregnant. Oh my God, if you're sexually active. Or you might have some problem, okay, with your ovary or even your vagina, okay, or your ovarian tubes. So you better see your doctor. So if your period lasts more than 7 days, you have to see the doctor, because for a normal person it's around 7 days. So if you have fewer than 21 days or more than 45 days between your periods, you see your doctor. Now, your cycle can also be used to estimate your fertile window. So what is the fertile window? The fertile window only represents a prediction of when you are most likely to get pregnant, but it's possible to get pregnant outside the predicted window. So don't take risks. All right. So the fertile window, okay, is not an effective method to avoid pregnancy. So you go like, okay, I'm not fertile now. It's okay to have sex. They tell you are pregnant. Okay. Your typical cycle can be quite different to a friend or a family's members and still be normal. So it can be, like your cycle can be 28 days, it can be 21 days, it can be 24 days. The most important thing is you are normal, you are healthy, and you're positive about it. All right. So let's go to our emotional development. So the release of hormones prior to puberty not only produces physical growth, which can be clearly seen, okay, facial hair and all those things, you get bigger in size, but it also triggers emotional changes, okay, which are normal and healthy, although sometimes it might not seem easy. The adolescents are beginning to shape their own identities, okay. Emotional changes during puberty should progress toward emotional maturity of the adults. Now, let's go to emotional changes of boys and girls. Increased production of hormones prompts sexual daydreaming in most young people. Now, there is a heightened awareness of sexual attraction. Okay, the girls look at the guys and go like, oh, he's so cute. He's so macho. Oh. The guys look at the girls and we're like, oh, she's the one. Oh my God. And you start to have those weird erection down there because you look at her and you have sexual fantasies. Okay? And you're like, well, okay. But in cases, releases of semen in the boys, okay, during their sleep, or we call them nocturnal emission, or commonly known as the wet dream, It's very normal. Okay, so it's very normal if you look or dream, okay, about something or someone that you like, and suddenly you wake up wet. So, but at the same time also, at this period of time, your sexual fantasy is actually heightened, you know. It's very common to go like, oh my god, and then you feel, you know, suddenly you have that standing up, your penis is, you know, very hard and so on, because it's very normal for boys. Well, what about girls? Do you have sexual fantasy? You do. Okay, you look at a guy, oh my god, Jimmy, oh, ah. But girls is not very obvious, because you know, you don't suddenly have something wet gushing out from your vagina. Or at times you might, but it's very rare. Okay, so in general, at this time period of time, the boys and the girls are more interested with one another. Okay, this is where puberty started, the nightmare for all parents. Okay, so puberty is a time of frequent shift of mood for adolescent. Okay, now, why is it frequent? Because there's a discomfort and concern about your changes in your body. Okay, your mood swing, you know, suddenly you have like, oh my god, I have breasts, and you know, I don't want to, other people are not having that, so I'm like haunching, you know, I don't want to have that. So you are very worried about how you look. Okay, so you're ashamed of yourself. Okay, so that is very, very uncomfortable for many of you. And then guys, suddenly you go like, why am I having like, you know, all this stubble coming out, you know, my friends are not having that. And suddenly you are like, no, my voice is very deep now. Okay, so you are having all these weird things happening to you. Now, it's part of adolescent, and your mood shift quickly and unpredictably. One moment you are like, oh, I'm happy, next moment you're like, oh, I'm sad, because it happens to you. Okay, and then at times, more than often not, for girls, you cry over small matters. For example, your so-called boyfriend forgot your birthday, and you were like, oh my god, you're crying for no reason. Like, or for example, your friend received a text message from her so-called boyfriend, and you did not get one, and you go like, oh, I'm so sad. So you see, emotional unbalance. Okay, and it's not something to be ashamed of. Okay, why it's not something to be ashamed of? Because you are going through turmoil at this moment in life. Now, it helps. How does it help? Because if you can talk this over with your parents, okay, you can talk this over with your friends. But then I'll tell you this, for friends, they might be going through the same thing, and they might be like, you know, going haywire, and if you talk to them, you are in the same boat. Okay, so not very stable situation. It's better to talk to your parents, but another party that you can talk to is your counselor, your school counselor, your college counselor. Okay, because these are actually trained people, so it's better to talk to them, like, why am I having big breasts? Okay, or do you know that, you know, like, I'm having like, oh god, wet dreams every night, you know, because, you know, I watch Ariana Grande's videos before I sleep, and I dream about her, you know, kind of thing. So, like, is it normal? Well, it's quite normal actually, but unless if you like, you are a girl, and then you are interested in Ariana Grande because of how she looks, that will be something else. All right, something to think about, something to consider. But still, it's not wrong. Okay, we are not saying it's wrong, but it's something to consider. All right, next, at the same time, you are feeling very different. Why? Because you are experiencing frequent shift of behavior. You are actually moving, because you are not a child, you are not an adult, you are at that stage whereby it's an in between. Okay, so you are not matured yet in a way. Okay, at the same time, you are not a child. You go like, that's so kiddish, you know, that's so childish, I'm not like that. But the next moment, you are doing the same thing. Okay, and you want to be an adult so much, but you still can't reach that level. So you are at an emotional turmoil. at the same time also, okay, your relationship with your parents might be conflicted. It might be difficult because you want to be independent. For example, Christmas is coming, right? So your mom go like, okay, everybody, let's wear red this year, like red shirt with, a tinge of green. Looks like a Christmas tree. And you were like, I'm not going to wear that. It's like, ugh. I'm going to wear black. I'm me. I'm going to wear black. Okay, that's me. Excuse me. No red, no green. I don't want to be a Christmas tree. And your mom went like, who the? Are you? You are still a kid. You should follow what I'm saying. And you go like, no. Again. Okay. Conflict started. Okay. So those are the issues actually right now. You want to be who you are, but at the same time, okay, you still have other people to consider, and you want to stand out and be independent and go like, I am me. So it's a difficult situation right now. Okay, but is it wrong? No, it's not wrong. You are asserting yourself because you have a change in your own self-concept. Okay, so let's look at how self-concept is defined as a person's perception of oneself. This includes his or her perception of his or her ability, character, attitude, traits, appearance, your aim, okay, your objectives. Is described as the directing force in a human behavior because a person acts consistent to his or her self-concept. Now, if you are positive, you are confident, you will act positively and confident. But at the same time, you are afraid. Why? Adolescents are often afraid because they think that they are not good enough. Okay? They are not there yet. So they are often afraid to try. But some are actually quite daring, They try on everything and get themselves in danger. But there are those, mostly, who are afraid to try because they feel that they are not good enough. So self-concept is actually formed through interaction with people. So the more you interact with others, the more, okay, you see how you perceive your own ability, your character, your attitude, and your traits. You find it along the way. So usually people are different. Unless, there are now kids who are actually interested to be in a cult. It's like, oh, we are the black kind of, clothing. We are goth. Then you end up there. Or, oh my God, no, I'm dressing this way because I love K-pop. And you are like, oh my God, the epitome of a K-pop fan, those weird clothing that they're wearing. Okay, so it depends, but that is your self-concept and it changes in life. All right, so don't feel anxious about it. Now, adolescents are actually very anxious because why? Their body changes. Okay, suddenly you are having period, and then you are having wet dreams. Okay, so you're like, am I normal? Okay, what is happening to me? Okay, how do I compare this? Is Alfred having the same thing? Is he like, having wet dreams? Or, oh my God, okay, is Susan having those, weird kind of things growing out of her? Is she bleeding every month, which I don't really like? We are having all that, okay? But what happens is you feel anxious, but you're not supposed to, all right? So there is how do you say, you should feel confident about it. Okay, now when we talk about anxious about your behavior, I remember that adolescent is when when you are in between and you start to have urges and you masturbate. It is actually normal to have, guys, when you start to touch your penis and suddenly your penis harden and you are, because you're thinking about Ariana Grande just now. Okay, so you are like, ooh, and then suddenly, the tip of my penis is wet and so on. It's actually quite normal because that is part of masturbation. Okay, but do not take that as a lifestyle. All right, remember that. Now, you start to think about other people. Okay, when you have like urges for those who are of the same sex, like, ooh, that girl looks nice. But I'm a girl. Is that okay? There's another issue which we'll talk about later, some other days. Now, and of course you tend to have your behaviors, you start to have urges. So kids of today is like they wanted to try. Okay, so you might have that's why we tend to have teenage pregnancy, because of sexual behavior with the opposite sex. And then sex without protection, without contraceptives and so on, you might end up having another problem there, teenage pregnancy. So something that we should actually consider and think about. All right, now emotional changes during puberty. Adolescent actually should understand, okay, and deal with the following emotional changes. So you might have crushes. It's very normal, okay. Even old people do have crushes also. Yeah, when I watch BTS, I'm like, oh my god, those cute guys. Yeah, okay. Then infatuation. You go like, oh, I love her. I love her also. I love her. How many loves? Okay, you are infatuated. Next, hero worship. Oh my god, do you know that lecturer? The one English lecturer working. Oh my god, he looks like Chris Evan. Oh, my hero. Huh. Or you. So it's all sort of actually emotional experiences, but it's actually quite normal. Okay, and or the most normal one is boyfriend and girlfriend. Okay, oh my boyfriend, oh my girlfriend. Okay, it's normal because we are actually human. We are not an island. We love to have companionship. Okay, then at the same time you also have emotional changes whereby you experience embarrassment. You feel very self-conscious. Okay, that is very normal. Before you are flat-chested, suddenly you have like these boobs coming out in front of you, and you're like, oh, I'm not going to have that. Am I? Okay. You need to be responsible to your own self. And then suddenly you have to be responsible to yourself and actually to others also around you. And you're like, why am I having this? Okay. And then you need to recognize and handle the situation and the feelings, okay, properly. You're not supposed to go like, oh, I can't think of it and I'm going to end my life. No. There are many ways to go through that. So your mind and your body, they influence each other. Okay, how your mind thinks, okay, how your body reacts, they are actually in sync with one another. So if you feel sexual urges, actually go for activities, not sexual activities, physical activities. For example, exercise. Okay, it helps you to relax. Okay, don't just laze around and go like, oh, Ariana Grande, and suddenly you are like, oh, I'm in trouble, I'm having wet dream. Awake. Okay, so knowing how and when to disagree is also very important. Okay, you don't just go and insert your authority. Hey, I'm big enough, like I know what I'm doing right now. Don't do that, please. Okay, so those are actually emotional changes during puberty, and it actually is very difficult to deal with. But if you know how to deal with it, it's actually there for you. All right. So let me remind you again: who to talk to? Your parents. Who to talk to? Your counselors. And of course, your last resort, talk to your friend. But as I said, they are not the first kind of people to look for advice. All right, so basically that's it. So for today, I hope I helped you a lot with my explanation. Okay, and as a conclusion, all right, okay, it's not very easy to be an adolescent. Okay, you experience all sorts of different emotion, you experience physical growth, but most importantly is we need to be normal, you are healthy, and you're positive about life. Those are the three most important things. So you have all that, and you can talk to your parents, you can talk to your counselor, you are happy. So with that, I thank you.